Hi, today's daily dose of love. Um, so today I want to come to you about grief and what grief is, because I want to say that one of our issues today is that people don't understand what happens when a person's contract's up. Okay. So, first off, before you came into this incarnation, you went to the wisdom hall and you planned out your life. You set up a contract, all your lessons. If you don't learn your lessons, you will have a bardo. You will have a section before you go to set up for what HPH you're going to be in, because you have to finish your contract. There's no getting around it. Then you have, unless you're inhumane, Bardo skipped, you go straight to Anubis's belly. You are there until you're loved by enough angels, and then you're reformatted and you start back as amoeba and have to go back through everything again. Worst part is when a star seed does this, and a star seed is somebody who came from another galaxy and then got incarnated here. You're a light being, and if you get that dense, oof, I wouldn't know. I've never done that. Um, so what happens when your contract is up is you go into the continuum. Now, depending on where you are on the HPH, your density, at a certain level of density, these beings that are within this level of density are able to assist the planet. Now, they can assist the planet. People call them spirit guides. No, they're you. They're your higher self. Um, One of the things that woke me up was my higher self, along with some of my relatives. Not all, just some. Because remember, this is where it gets confusing. Because I know my mother's reincarnated as my son, but I also know that my mother in the continuum is helping me as the one I know. Now, um, when he passes, the one in the continuum will merge and they will have all the knowledge of this life. And then that soul will go forward as the person the name of my son is. So it's hard to understand, but the only way to understand this is to understand how time doesn't work in other dimensions. This is the only dimension that has time. Time only exists when you're incarnated as a being. Well, if you're incarnated anytime, anything, because if you're a bug, you're incarnated, you're dealing with time, even though you may not have the conception of it, it's still there. So there's still that. But in the continuum, that's eternity. That is what eternity is. Um, because there is no time. So you can have this lifeline, and then you can pass, and then you can go into previous lives, you can go into future lives. You have to understand that Divine Pymander, the one over our galaxy, and King Thoth, I guess that's where the 12, because the 3 above it, most don't count. I count 15 chakras because I go all the way to the source. But if you kill the Divan Shigarita, the Divan Shiga, and the Divan Rita, the galactic universal or universal cluster, universal galactic cluster. If you remove those, there's the 12 chakras that are already written. But it's all about being connected. But the divine and King Thoth, they deal with all timelines of all, which means Back to the Future kind of talks about this, how When they went back to the future and changed something, they started a new timeline. That's kind of like what's going on here, is that there are many timelines going on at one time. So King Thoth and Divine, um, so when people think God knows everything, no. That's being very presumptuous that they would have the time and energy to worry about every individual to know everything. No. Everything is energies. Understanding that everything is energies. What you do individually affects the energies that are going to come your way. The reason why I say this is because we are in a transition period, because in March 21st, we begin the 42,200, and that begins a new Yuga cycle. This new Yuga cycle is not the Dwapa. We do not go Kali Dwapa. We go full circle and we come back to the age of peace. But the golden age of peace does not mean peace throughout the land. You can't have that and give you free will at the same time. So when I say everybody made their contracts, everything that's going on, well, I didn't plan this for the government. No, but somebody's contract did. See, if you go outside of your own worldview, your own surroundings, you're wrong, because now you're not considering that when you step outside of your zone, you're going into other people's learning lessons. So you could be a part, and I know I've been a big part of a lot of lessons. How it works. So you go through, I know, I got the runny nose again. We got to, we have days. We have days. But so if you go through and you understand that, number one, you have a contract, number two, you have a duty. And that duty is to do right by you. I don't know how to say this anything more than most of the people that are running around spouting MAGA baloney chips don't believe in it. They don't believe in it. They they're doing it because somebody told them to. And that's the problem with most boomers. Yes, I know I'm heavy on the boomers, but that's because they refuse to learn. And the reason why I know this is because I have a husband who's trying to change, and it is very hard for him. And I get it. His upbringing, and the fact that, here's the problem, the boomers are more into selfish in a way that you don't understand. You think you're not being selfish, you think you're being selfless, and it turns out you're not. Because to be selfless is to give without anything. And it's so difficult. So, number one, understand what grief does to a soul. Okay? So, as the soul is leaving the body, okay, it has a lot of static. To When you die and you step into the continuum, you see a different dimension. And the minute you phase dimensions, this is where things get complicated, because if you don't have a focused view that you know that you're going to another dimension, you're going to phase into a different dimension, and every being is alive in a dimension somewhere, then when those beings show up, you understand. The Book of the Dead, even though I'm not, I mean, the Book of the Dead is probably the closest. It explains to you how we need to be joyful in, help them on their journey. You have to understand that no matter how somebody dies, that has no bearing on their soul's journey. When somebody dies, the situation surrounding that death is a life lesson left behind for the living. Always, always. Everything is a life lesson. Everything is about learning and about growing and about trying to lighten your density so you can level up. It really is. And the only way to level up is to understand how the game is played. And it's played off of an inhumane love, unconditional love for all beings. Inhumane can't handle all beings. Densest, hell, heaven, if that's what you call it. But if you think heaven is you going someplace and living in paradise, bullshit. We all got duty. And I will say this, your time on earth here now is like a vacation. It's short, it's exciting, there's amusement, there's choices, there's expansion, there's free will. In the continuum, there's duty, responsibility, duty, responsibility, duty, responsibility, duty. The only difference is you don't get to be tired. But here's the thing, outside of your physical feelings, your emotional and your mental, that's your soul. That's you. So if you want to change things, the only way change happens is from the inside out. Change you, change the way you approach things, change the way you see situations. Find a way to see the positive in everything. And you can. Decide not to speak of anything in the negative, speak it only in the positive. You want to bring your body and your mentality to a vibration where good things can happen to you. Now, if you think wealth is going to fix it, money's going to fix it, or something else needs to happen to fix your life, you're fucked. I you're fucked because it's not how it works. Somebody sold you a lie. They sold you a bill of goods that was bullshit. Number one, we're not here for happiness. We're here for contentment. If you're trying to be happy, you're fooling yourself. Nobody can be happy all the time. It's contentment. We want to be content. Contentment means comfortable. It also means kindness. It also means understanding situations. If you're not considerate of other beings, why would other beings be considerate of you? Forgiveness is not for the other person. I have forgiven so many people, I don't tell them, especially if they're nasty and rotten to me. I forgive you, but I'm not going to go tell you that's on you. You got to find your own. Forgiveness is for me, so I don't hold any negative, feelings towards them. I can stay in the positive realm. And staying in the positive, and then I stay positive, and I keep it going, and I love those around me. I teach them how to be positive. I teach them how this works, and I get everybody around you loving and understanding, and then you get people around you. This is how it works. But again, I feel like I'm speaking to 2125 because I feel like nobody in 2026 is going to listen to me. They think I'm insane. They think I'm crazy. But no, I do live the way I talk. This is not virtue signaling. This isn't those other weird words they say. This is honest to God, my heart. I've wrote books. I've wrote web pages. I pay for these web pages out of my own money. I do this for the love of all beings. I come and talk to you because they come to me and I listen to them and I hear them and I'm multidimensional. I remember them and They trust me because of whom I am in their realms as an archangel. Therefore, they talk to me. We have this communication. But if you don't have reverence for all beings, love all beings, how can they trust you? How can they communicate with you if you haven't put forth the gratitude to the 13 planets, the 13 zodiacs, the seven primary senses that have seven primary or seven senses of theirs, which means we have 49 sense beings that are completely informing our soul of what's going on in our body. We have five elemental beings that make up. Gnomes are our bones, sylphs are our breath, dragons are the space between our atoms, and our nervous system and lymph system. Undines are our blood. Salamanders are our temperature. Me wanting them, just okay. And then you have the seven senses, which I think hear, taste, smell, touch, feel, thought, and intuition. Oh, I gotta write this down. Seven. We have 7 days a week. We have five primary colors, five directions without center. The other four don't count. Um, 17 dimensional planes that everything exists on. We're on the first one, dimension one, which is matter. There is 21 HPH density levels. I just say HPH because most people know Dante with the hell, purgatory, heaven. Everybody gets raised with that. There are 364 days a year with 1 day of reverence to the earth. We're supposed to all thank her and be reverent to her that day to re-energize her because of how she gives us life. More than just plant a tree. We need to be building incoherent with her, with living roofs, berms around our homes. Why we have square walls that are up to be blown down makes no sense. We don't allow wildlife to live over our houses. That's ridiculous. Why are we taking their land? We go around pushing Indians off their land and act like they had no rights. They got more rights than we do. I'm sorry, I have mad respect for every native in every country. They were there first. Period. I have respect for everybody, everywhere, all the time. That's what we're supposed to do. This is responsibility. This is duty. The only thing about me being an archangel and being the daughter of King Thoth once upon a time was that I know timelines. I understand Atlantis. I'm here to remember things. But in this incarnation, all these do is remind me of my responsibility and my duty that I can't lie. I can't get involved in the illusion. This is why everybody called me strange. I couldn't get into you bashing people. It ain't right. And number one, if you're doing it to them, what are you doing to yourself? Because if you don't have respect and love yourself first, you can't have respect and love anybody else. It just doesn't work that way. So if you want a better life, turn off the news, get the fuck out of social media, stop letting these people take all your information so they can mimic it and fool people later. Try to wean yourself from the billionaires best you can, as I have an Amazon order coming soon. I can't get it anywhere else right now, and it literally is my lifeline, my whey powder. I am poor, so I can't afford to buy. I don't understand why factory direct's going to be $20 more, but I don't have it. I have a lot of disabilities. We're a one income house. This is difficult in today, but it doesn't matter. I'm okay with not having money because I know how evil money is. That's why I'll never monetize this. I doesn't know. If any money ever comes through my not for profit, it is going to be straight to build homes for youngins. The first ones I want to get are the ones out of the foster care system, or the ones that are aging out of foster care system. I want to get them homed, get them loved. They deserve it. I just want to love everybody. I want to give everybody, I want to be everybody's mom and say, listen, don't believe the hype. Thank you, Public Enemy. Yes, I listen to underground rap. Um, as I said before, I got my pot. I started buying it young. Had neighbors that sold it, and typically, everywhere I could get pot, I could pretty much. That's where the cassette tapes showed up. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take $5 for that, sure. And the next thing you know, it you've got. Um, then you find out that they made it big. Oh, when they were on MTV, I jumped up and I went, I heard them before. Anyways, so yeah, not all of it was good. I'll say that. I mean, some tapes were like, whoa, that person's just mad. Okay, I don't like mad stuff, but I do like stuff that talks truth. And I've got to say, there is more truth that got spit out of underground rap than I think any industry's ever said, especially when we have so many plants today. And anybody who sells out, I have no respect for. So I have a very small palette of music because so many have sold out. And because you sell out, I can't listen to your music because I worry about the propaganda that you're subliminally putting in. And you guys did. I mean, we didn't start the fire. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. The fire was out. The wars were over and you started it all back up. We were in peace and you started back up. I'm never going to get over it. Why did you keep marijuana illegal? Why? It just made me have more seizures, more rages, not be able to talk, not be able to carry on a job, not be able to carry on a life. It just put me in more hospitals and caused me more problems. Oh, and let's talk about it, because you know what they had me on when I couldn't get marijuana? They had me on fentanyl. No, I didn't take it. I dealt with the pain. I can't. I don't want the way it feels. I had the patches. Then we had shots, lollipops for a bit with the morphine. Dudes, all I needed was my marijuana. That's it. I don't know why you couldn't just leave me alone with that. Why you? Oh, oh, because you got 17 surgeries out of me. Ah, because I think we figured out the other day it was somewhere around $32 million has been made by the medical industry on this body alone. And I wasn't nothing wrong. It was because I needed THC. It's the only thing that calms this nervous system down proper. And the muscle relaxers, the pain pills were for the seizures. If I'm not having the seizures, I don't need all that, you know? So yeah, at some point you have to take responsibility for you. I'm not blaming them. That was my choice. I let them do it. I did. I also ended up with cancers. That's on me. I did that to myself by not doing right by myself. That's how I feel. Now I am doing right by myself. My blood works perfect. I'm doing great. I ain't never getting no more cancers. I know what my DNA says. I know what they claim. They claim I'm going to get it. No, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to show medical now that when you know you're not going to get sick, you don't. When you pay attention to the 49 sense beings, the 5 elemental beings, and you know that you're the 55th conductor and you pay attention, you feed it what it needs, you give it what it needs, you do what needs to be done, you put the THC, I do Epsom salt baths 3 times a day. I've got the THC in my oils along with cedar wood, black pepper, lavender, chamomile, frankincense, myrrh. All these things are basically to help my muscles and help my fascia. I do quashing, I do massage. My husband gives me massages. It's the body. We're in a lot of pain. And then we don't want to talk about the COVID thing. Oh, and somebody told me today COVID didn't exist. You can't tell my body COVID doesn't exist. I am on low dose naltrexone. And from what I'm understanding, for the rest of my life now, so it doesn't get bad enough where I can't breathe and go to the hospital. So we have it in my body now. What do you mean it doesn't exist? It exists and it sucks. Um, so I love you guys, but I need you guys to understand that everything begins with you. I can't do it for you. I can tell you how I did it. Now, what woke me up was the Emerald Tablets, but that's because Thoth has a message in them for me, and I decoded it. And when I decoded it, it freaked me out because at first I thought, how could this work? Because we were speaking Atlantean when I died. Well, when I went when I got absorbed into the dimensions to understand the dimensions. Then Dorian wrote it or something, and then or been translated. So I was like, okay, because I'm being told decode my message and you'll know what to do. And then I go and I finally somebody online set it up in the right stanzas. And when they did, I saw it. I saw the pattern. And then I got the message that I had to remember. And I had to remember it all. And then I had to talk to you guys. And then I had to tell you, which I started a YouTube channel because I knew I was supposed to do this, but then I didn't know what it was. So I was trying to do art. Art didn't work. Then I did Minecraft, but it was like, I just feel like I'm just spinning out. If I don't have something to talk about, I don't feel comfortable just sitting here going and rambling. But now that I understand what I'm doing, it all makes sense. That's why when you're going through your wicked, for a moment, I thought I was an alien. I thought aliens were going to show up, but now I know the only way that a being from the other galaxies is through incarnation. Now we have grays on the moon. That's why I'm sitting here watching them talk about going to the moon. They can't go land on the moon. Why are they bullshitting us? They can't. No, the grays do not let them. Because you don't understand the moon. The moon is not what you think it is. It is a station for the grays on the dark side. That is future us who ended the planet, sent a group back to save the planet from that extinction. And now they're doing the same fucking thing. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, they're doing the same thing. They haven't changed things. What's going to change things is the sun, Amun Ra, and you. Don't fall for their bullshit. So if they're little gray men, there are future, I want to call them cyborgs. I don't know what that means, but that's what I'm being told. They're considered cyborgs. Now I saw cyborgs on Doctor Who, but I've never understood what it is. But they're cyborgs. That's why they continue to live, and they gave us the fucking bomb. That's what pisses me off. See, they broke the rules by giving the nuke. They broke the rules, and when they broke the rules, things happened to them. Because this is all energy. So when they say the coming back of Jesus, no. It's the coming back of the energy. They call it Christos energy. No. Christos is wrong. Sorry. It's the Atlantean energy. And the Atlantean energy is the holy energy. It is the reverent energy. And if you are not completely and utterly reverent to the planet Earth, she's going to beat you down. That's why the line's being built, because Saudi Arabia knows that the billionaires and the wealthy people who are hoarding money are not going to be able to live on the surface of this planet without some protection, because Mother Earth will not put up with those who are not reverent. Look at the dinosaurs when she called me in to wipe them out. Look at the giants when they had to lay down when time was. They had to be done. They were frozen out. Believe me or not, that's your choice. I'm here to save souls. Those that I resonate with, I love you. Thank you very much. Those I don't resonate, I still love you. I love everybody. It is my duty. It is my job. And it is the hardest thing any human can ever do to love every single being, even the ones that make your skin crawl. I must love DJT, but I don't have to like anything they do. They didn't live up to their higher self. That's on them. Don't make what he's doing your problem. You don't have to. You can say, I'm done watching news. I'm done watching media. I'm not going to listen to this anymore. They're all rotten. I'm going to do everything in my power to make my life more sustainable for myself. Get out from underneath from anybody having to spend money. Only buy local, only buy non-corporate. I say that as I'm a corporation. Non-big corporate, because little corporations are good. I have a corporation. I have a not-for-profit too. Little's good. Local's good. We feed our family. We don't hoard money. If we make more money, we will hire. In fact, we will stay poor to hire somebody and bring them up in the chains because we don't care about money. It's not about the money. It's the love of helping people and us being able to make bill. And I'm trying to teach my husband not to worry so much about bill. Let worry not be. Have faith. You do your job. It all works out. So I love you guys. We hear my dog calling time. So have a wonderful time, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.